Guys, see, I just saw this movie and whew, I'm loving it. Oh my goodness, you guys, I am loving it. And I was just like, I definitely have to talk about this movie. Like, I have to. I said I was going to do a movie review. I'm sorry if this camera is shaky because I'm holding my phone with my hand, so it might be shaky a little. I don't want to put tripod and all of that, but guys, I said I was going to do a movie review and I never got around to do that review. If you saw the previous review I did, I mentioned that I was going to do another one, but I haven't gotten around to actually do that. It's not because I don't want to, I just haven't found the time. But you guys, I saw this movie last night and I knew I was going to, like, I just said to myself, you know what, I really have to do a review for this movie because why not? Why not? Guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you're seeing my face, my name is Oge. This is simply Oge. So just go to that red button that says subscribe. Just go there, click on subscribe, and let's jump right into this video. So guys, like I was saying, let's jump right into this review. So the movie I'm talking about is called RRR, like triple R. Yes, RRR, that's the name of the movie I'm talking about, that I'm going to be talking about in this video. You guys, I saw the recommendation on Instagram, like, you know how Netflix just does sponsored post and whatnot. So I just saw it on my Instagram feed and I decided to read through the comments because sometimes I like to check comments before I go to watch any movie at all. So I decided to read through the comments and I saw pretty impressive comments. Yes, I saw them and then I was like, okay, maybe this is a really good movie. I was skeptical at first because it's an Indian movie. I Indian movies now, they must dance, they must do all those things, and I do used to like all of that. It's so weird because in this particular movie I loved every single part of it. So RRR, yeah, we have two main characters there, two heroes. Guys, the bromance, if you haven't seen this movie, let me just put a disclaimer first. If you haven't seen it and you intend to watch it, I think you should go and do so before you watch this video. Yes, so that I don't spoil it for you. So you guys, the bromance in that movie was something else. The two characters that I'm talking about is Beam and Raju. I enjoyed watching them both. This fowl will not stop shouting here, and I can hear it, and I'm sure you can hear it as well. But it's nothing is going to stop me from filming this video. So, guys, like I was saying, the bromance between Beam and Raju was so good. Like, it was so good, and it was weird that they were looking for each other, and yet they were just in front of each other the whole time. So Raju is a police officer working for the British government, while Beam is how do I put it? Um I don't know if I'd call him an act. No, he wasn't the activist, so to say. I think Raju was even the activist in the movie. Yeah, I think. But Beam was someone that would always look out for his people. So this particular girl goes missing. Her name is Mali. Mali goes, no, not missing. Mali gets taken by the British government. One of their governor's wife, I think, the British governor that was in India then. So they take her and then they gave the mother, there was language barrier, so they gave the mother money, and she's thinking that perhaps the money was for the beautiful song her daughter had just sang for them, not knowing that they were giving her money to buy her daughter. So the reality dawned on her when they were taking her daughter away and when she ran after them. Hey God, this side was so somehow. They just smashed her head with one big wood. Bim gets to hear about it and goes after Mali. So Raju now is a police officer, and they had promised the police officers that they were going to make anyone who is able to find Bim, yeah, they were going to make that person a, was it special officer? I can't remember the title. They said they were going to give to the person. So Raju has a plan. Yeah, Raju has a plan. Raju's plan is to get to a certain rank in the police, get to a certain rank to be able to have access to shipping guns to wherever. Yeah, so it was something that had been born out of, like, he had faced a harsh reality from when he was small. The British people just, they would just invade your village and then they would just attack and whatnot. So guys, yeah, these two people meet each other and they become fast friends. Like, the way they became friends was it was so fast. You see, I'm not someone that used to like all these their dance, like Indian dance in movies. I would just be like, why are you people dancing now? Like, grown men like you, what are you dancing for? Like, why are you dancing? But guys, the parts I actually, one of the parts, not the part, one of the parts I enjoyed the most was when they danced the first dance. This whole time I forgot to mention, this whole time Raju has been looking for Bim, and Bim has been trying to get into the government house so that he could rescue Mali. You know, when they told them that there was a threat to the governor, they didn't say, guys, this foul. When they told them that there was a threat to the governor, they didn't say the identity of the person who was threatening. So they just basically had to fish out the person for themselves. So yeah, Raju took on that task because he was going for something. He wanted something. So he immediately accepted that he was going to find the person regardless of the fact that there was no identity whatsoever. So that was basically the reason why when he met Bim, he didn't know he was the one that was posing a threat to the British governor. Yeah, so they become fast friends and then they go for this dance, the one I was talking about that I really enjoyed. And one of the white guys there tries to make fun of Beam, and then Raju just goes to the band. Was it an orchestra? But he sure went and took over the band, yeah. And then he started playing Indian beats, and then he handed over to another guy to continue playing the beats. So guys, that dance was something else. So let's just fast track this movie. Finally, Bim has been able to go into the government house. He he has taken notice of how the first gate opens first before they open the second gate. Like, you have to shut the first gate before opening the second gate. So he takes notice of all of this. He walks around the quarters. He finally sees Mali, sees that she's alive, and then, you know, this whole time they've been looking for her. They weren't even certain that she was still alive. So he finally sees her. His resolve grows stronger to rescue her, and then he goes back and makes plan. Meanwhile, Raju had kidnapped one of Bim's men because he had disguised himself as part of the people who that hated the governor. So one of Bim's men came and met him because he thought he would be a part of them. So he told him that he was going to take him to his brother, who is Bim. Like, he would take him to Bim. So he later discovered that Raju was a policeman, and so he didn't take him to Bim anymore. So Raju had kept him hostage, torturing him so that he could expose who the stepbrother is, not knowing that it's been Bim this whole time. It's Bim. So yeah. So this guy in bondage captures a snake and throws it at Raju. So it's a poisonous snake. It bites Raju, and he needs help. Apparently, the poison doesn't have any antidote. That was what the man explained. But Raju was able to find Beam just at the nick of time. Raju was able to find Beam, and Beam, they just did one concussion for him, and yeah, it was an antidote. Yeah, a native antidote, and it worked. It worked, and it helped him. But while Raju was in that critical stage where he was weak, he couldn't move, Beam had exposed, or was it exposed? Beam had told him about himself, and then told him what his mission was, that he was going into the governor's, the British quarters, to rescue Mali. At this point, Raju was really weak. He couldn't, but he tried. He cried. He said he kept struggling to say something, but he couldn't. He was reaching out to Beam, trying to drag him or something, but he just couldn't talk because the poison had really dealt with him. So he was really weak. He was just recovering. So guys, Beam and his men finally make it into the governor's quarters, and when they were like, Beam legit carried animals. He legit carried animals in there. Like, there were tigers, there were antelopes, I think, or were those reindeers? Yeah, they were there. He carried lots of them, and they entered there, and so he just let loose the animals, and the animals were ravaging people up and down while he kept his focus on finding Mali. In the course of this, Raju has recovered. Raju has recovered and is going after Beam, because now he knows who Beam is. So he's going after Beam. He's able to capture Beam, and it was such a heartbreaking moment for me, because these two best friends now had to fight against each other. Oh my days. I was so heartbroken on their behalf. Yeah, they imprisoned Beam, and there was one time they brought him out to flog him and make him kneel before the governor, but Beam was not having it. Okay, like, if you see the way they tortured this guy, they whipped him, they cuffed him with chains, and like, it was bad. But Beam now started singing. Oh my goodness. See, I don't know why I liked this movie, but I liked it. Okay, he started singing again, and before you know, everybody was charged up. Like, the villagers that had come to watch the torture, they were all charged up all of a sudden. And if you see the attack, they attacked them. So it was much later that, like, later that night, Raju has started reflecting on his actions in his course of trying to get victory for his people. Like, there were a lot of throwbacks, or like remembrance. Now you get, like, they would show what happened in his childhood. They showed how the British people had attacked his village, killed his mom, killed his brother. So it was a resolve that Raju had, that he was going to get weapons. He promised his father that he was going to get weapons, and he was going to give everybody in the village weapons. So this was his way of getting it. Okay, he placed himself in the police force. He worked so hard, like, guys, he worked so hard so that he could get to the position where he'd be able to be in charge of dispatching arms, so that he could dispatch arms to his people. The goal was to carry out a revolution against the British government. So Raju just had a rethink, and then he decided that he was going to free Beam. Beam was set for execution. They were going to shoot him to death. So he planned that he was going to rescue Beam, but unfortunately, the governor discovered his plan. The plan worked, but Raju was now captured and imprisoned in a very tight hole, mind you. So this movie has dragged, but it's worth it. It's worth it, guys. So Beam now is out, and then Raju's fiancé had come all the way from their village to come and look for Raju. Actually, they wrote her a letter that she should come and get Raju's body because they were going to hang him. Yeah, they were going to execute him. So she should come and get his body so that she could go and bury him. So somehow Beam and Raju's fiancé connected, and she was able to tell Beam and the rest of the crew what Raju's plan had been the whole time. And then Bim realized that this whole time Raju wasn't betraying his people, but instead he had a plan. Like he had a plan this whole time, and all of these things that he was actually doing was to achieve what his plan was. So Bim made a resolve that he was going to get Raju out, he was going to rescue him. So yes, that was when he went and they had Omo that fight. See, it's not something I can explain. It was wowing. It's like I really enjoyed it. Guys. Anywho's guys, they had that fight and they won. Yes, they won. They had the fight and they won. And Raju was able to actually deliver on his promise to his people. And Mali, the girl that they that Beam had rescued, was also able to get back home to her family. So I and that was the end of the movie. And then they sang again and they danced, and I just kept loving it all. So guys, if you haven't seen this movie, see, go and watch it. You will like it. It's like even the film tricks were so good. I was loving every part of it. You know how Indian people can do film tricks and be like, but this time around, I liked the film tricks, everything, the way they would fly in the air, the way they would kick, it was too good. It was too good. Whomever put this movie together really did a good job, and the quality of the movie is impeccable. Really, is worth commending. So guys, let me know if you enjoyed this review, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and it's important that you subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. For now, I'm saying bye, and I'll see you in my next one.